All right. Good evening, beloved, and hopefully everyone is doing wonderful. Family, I've been noticing a pattern when it comes down to these movies about corrupt police and politicians. Especially corrupt police. I was watching this movie, Rebel Ridge, on Netflix. Very interesting. Very. It's a pretty good movie, but very interesting with this pattern that I've been seeing, and you may have seen something a little different, you know. But this is what I've noticed. I've noticed that the powers that be have no problem putting out movies showing the corruption, right? Showing the corruption in the police departments, right? Even in the judicial system, they have no problem showing how high this corruption goes. But what's troubling me is when it comes down to the victims, especially victims of color, so called black people to be specific. These corrupt systems will use any tactic or anything, or go by any means to get whatever they want. Even using lethal force, right? Using lethal force to get whatever results they're looking for. They have no problem doing this. And we see this, being displayed every day. We see this. Especially when it come down to so-called people of color. But again, what I'm noticing with these patterns is, but when it comes down to how black people, so-called Negroes, so-called black people, deal with said corruption, it's always we have to take the moral high ground, right? They have to put in the storyline how the victims are, when they come and retaliate or come back to protect, select to protect themselves, they use non-lethal force, and I think it's programming. I really think it's programming. Here it is. You have a system. Again, let's be real about it. Every time we look up, there's another unarmed person of color, unalived, right? Murdered by a corrupt system. And when you say that, people be, oh, well, the whole system. Well, my thing is this: if why is it not why is it that we don't see on a day-to-day basis these good cops arresting these bad cops? That's what's just mind blowing to me. Where is all these good cops that are supposed to be arresting, right, lawbreakers? So if you have all these corrupt cops, every time you look up, there's another cop unaliving a person of color, or even, violating their civil rights by using excessive force, police brutality. But you don't see any of these so-called good cops arrest them, or at least stop the officers from, violating, said civil rights. So again, like I said, I'm starting to see a pattern in these movies. We seen it in American Skin, with Nate Parker, right? Again, cop just use whatever force, use deadly force to get whatever result he wanted. You're not complying. You feel me? They didn't comply. And you see this. You see video after video on social media where people have these encounters with police. And unfortunately, people of color usually wind up in the morgue. And I just find it odd. I just find it, like, But anyway, but again, we seen this with in American Skin with Nate Parker. Now most of us would say he would have been justified. I mean that's, again, You took this man's son. You took his son's life. Then again, we see the same thing in what? The movie is with Denzel Washington, The Equalizer. The mafia hired corrupt cops. Hired cops. I mean that the guy said he was a good cop at one time, but hold on. But how did you was a good cop, but yet you felt comfortable working with the mafia? He was he was willing to do anything and everything for himself, for his survival, right? But yet Denzel, when it came down to Denzel dealing with the cop, he used non-lethal force. But when it come down to the mafia and the drug dealers, he did whatever. But at that point, well, how do you, when this cop cross the line, how do you then, treat him like, again, like a person that with dignity, with respect? And now here it is. We have another movie, Rebel Ridge. Guy is again, he's a law-abiding citizen trying to do the right thing for for him and his family, and corrupt cops, corrupt politicians. They have a system in place, and they're going to do whatever they need to do for their benefit, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who life is affected or who's killed or what have you. It really don't matter, as long as they get what they want. And even to the point where they will use lethal force. But the people who are being victimized, again, it's always that they have these actors, and they write in the script that these actors play these roles, but they take the moral high ground, not using lethal force, not meeting fire with fire. And I just say it's programming. It's programming. This is why when we see these things happen in real life, in real time, our people are numb to it. We're waiting on the same system that have protected and bred these individuals. We're waiting on them for justice. Again, programming. Now, I don't condone violence, but it's no way I'm going to sit there and just let you just destroy my family and not use lethal force. And we know you're wicked as shit. Anyway, family, that's what I see. You may see something different. With that being said, as usual, peace, love, shalom.